So one thing I want to start doing is sort of like a meta-analysis, so to say, for Duel Links once a month, courtesy of Duel Links Meta, which is a very good resource for all your Duel Links need. So we're going to look at the current format for October 2019, see what's going on. There was a recent tier list update on this website, I think yesterday. I want to talk about the current meta, what the decks are, how good they are, how they will be going forward, and why they're so good. So first off, we have Dark Lords, a deck that I actually really like. Definitely one of the more hated decks. I actually don't mind Dark Lords as much as other people. One of the things that makes Dark Lords so strong is their ability just to get out these really strong high-level monsters, essentially for free. If you look at this deck, you'll see multiple like level 10 monsters, and only one normal summon in Ukobak, which really isn't even played all that much. There's some lists that don't play it at all. I think it's a good card. I would play it if I had the deck. But the thing that makes this deck so good is X-Shell with the, what is this card called? Banishment of the Dark Lords. Banishment adds a Dark Lord, really, really strong. X-Shell lets you discard and draw. You can gain life points as well. A lot of the Dark Lords have the ability to copy the spells or traps of Dark Lord cards in the graveyard. So what you can do is you can copy the search. So on your opponent's turn, you get a search. You can copy Dark Lord Contact, which is special summon Dark Lord from the graveyard, which is your main way of summoning out your bigger monsters. And one of the best cards, I think, Sanctified Dark Lord, is a negate. So basically this deck has everything you want for a deck to be good. You have an easy way to get out big monsters. You have a Searcher, you have Revival from the graveyard, and you have a negate. You pair that with World Legacy Clash, one of the better support cards in the game right now. You could play Econ, I guess, but Clash is really nice because you could just banish your own monsters and it doesn't really matter that much. It also clears the field a little bit, because sometimes with this deck, you can clog your field a bit. I've noticed that with this deck, though, when I play against it, they don't really have too many ways to get around a Wall of D, because there's a lot of times where I'm playing against this deck, they get, 3 big monsters on board, all in attack mode, they go for their beatdown because they're all high levels, attack directly, you just use Wall of D, and if you look at their attacks, like, a few of them are a little bit over 2400, we have 25, we have 26, and I believe this is 28, and if you Wall of D them, they go down to less than 500, which is really strong. They also have Tez, which I think is a little bit of an underrated card. This card can protect your Dark Lord monster, they'd be destroyed by card effect or battle. I think it's card effect or battle. Is it just battle? I don't know. But either way, yeah, battle or card effect. Really powerful card. And I think this deck is kind of crazy in the fact that it's been around for so long. Like, if we look at X-Shell, X-Shell came out of Lord of Shining. That was a while ago. That was when I was playing Duel Links, and I stopped playing for like 4 or 5 months before late August. So I had a couple of these cards, and then this card came out in Shadows of Valhalla late August, and just really pushed the deck. Even this engine, too, is used in other decks. I've seen people use, like, the X-Shell with Banishment in, whatchamacallit, Fortune Ladies, just get some draws off. Really strong deck, very powerful deck. You can see all these decks that have taken games with it. Let's take a look at one of the lists just for fun, see how different it is. This one's playing Cosmic Cyclone. It's the exact same list as the one we just saw, the sample list, except it's playing Cosmic Cyclone over playing World Legacy Clash. Cosmic Cyclone's really good, obviously, good against Trimads, good against Ancient Gears. Just a good all-around card. So that's it for Dark Lords. Easily agree that they are the best deck in the format. Easily, no doubt. Then we have Neos. This is something that is a little bit weird. It's kind of hard to explain because we have Neos, right? And the variant of Neos that people are talking about that's really good is really Invoked Neos. That's why I feel like there should be separation between the Neos categories, because, if you play Neos in a pure Neos-based build, sure, it's a pretty good deck. That's not a tier 1 deck. But when you add Alistair the Invoker with Flip-Flop Frog non-target removal, extremely powerful. This card in general, Keeper of Dragon Magic from the new EX Structure deck, this is the card that you want from the EX Structure deck. Every single EX Structure deck has at least one really good card, whether it's making it a really good archetype in general, just one card to support an older archetype, in this case the Neos. Keeper of Dragon Magic, discard a card, search for your Neos fusion, get you a very consistent Neos, Brave Neos, I should say, on the first turn with a Bacon Saver in the graveyard. Then you have Alistair and Invocation, which you can recycle. Alistair you can discard as well to boost your fusions. It's all fusions, I believe, too, not just invoked fusions, so it works with Brave Neos, which is crazy. Then you have Cognitive Attacks in defense mode, so you can't even get Wall of D, because you can't Wall of D a defense edition monster. Very strong card. Really, really like this deck. Flip-Flop Frog is a bit annoying, though, I'm not gonna lie, because, there's really not many ways to out-face down sets in this game that I can think of, with the exception of, like, if you play, like, Marksman or something, or if you're playing for hires and you have Dampa. But that's about it. Really strong deck. I really wish they would separate this, though, into Invoked Neos and then other Neos forms, because I don't believe that there's really any other big Neos variant that comes close to being as good as this. Now, if you look at this over here, the top card, so you have 3 Neos fusion every Neos deck, obviously. 2 and 93% playing regular Neos. Then this is a 3 of, Keeper's a 3 of 90% of the deck. And then you have Bacon Saber, which is one of the 9% of the deck. Most decks play it. But then you have Invocation, which is played in 83% of Neos decks. That's why I think it should be separated, because that means... Okay, first off, so you have 0 and 15%. So 15% of the Neos variants aren't even playing Invocation. They aren't even playing the Invoke stuff. Well, 85% are. So that's kind of why I feel like we should separate it into Invoke Neos and then just Neos. Maybe that's just me. I understand that Neos is a very broad engine and can be put in a lot of things. I personally love it in Cyberdark. It's my favorite deck right now. But I would not put Cyberdark Neos on the same level as this deck. I think Cyberdark Neos probably a tier 2 or 3 deck easily, but definitely doesn't come close to this or Dark Lord. So that's Neos. You know why it's good. It's been around for a while. Got your protection. Got all your good cards. That's that. And then we get to tier 2. We get to my most hated deck, Desperado, aka Despacito. So Desperado is another EX structure deck. Another card that is just... Oh, let me just read this card. So, if a face-up Dark Machine monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. That's pretty good. Has 2800. Strong monster. Okay, can use beatdown if you want. Once per turn during the battle phase, quick effect, so on your opponent's turn as well. You can toss a coin up to 3 times. Destroy face-up monsters on the field up to the number of heads. Then, if the result was 3 heads, draw a card. Can't attack turn this effect is used, whatever. It's into the graveyard, adding level 7 or lower monster that has a coin tossing effect from your deck to your hand, so you can't add another Despacito, but it's fine. So, you play this, obviously you know what skill you're using. You're using the Sartorius coin flip skill. And the fact that this card basically says, destroy 3 cards, draw 1, that's crazy. Master of Destiny is just insane. Not Pot of Ace, what is this called? Cup of Ace. Basically a pot of greed in the deck again because you draw 2. The only downside, if you want to call it a downside, to the whole Desperado strategy, playing Master of Destiny, is you have to play multiple coin flip effects. But when you play 3 of this, and you play 2 Cup of Ace, and then you play the mini Barrel Dragon, whatever it's called, the one from the card trader, it doesn't even matter. The deck also started to play Rebirth of Parshath, which I think a lot of other decks just look into playing. This is basically just a free counter trap. So you activate it, reveal another counter trap in your hand, special summon a Parshath monster from your deck or extra deck. So you can use the Synchro, which is crazy, because this deck in general doesn't really rely on the extra deck, so you can just fill up your extra deck with 3 of those things. And you get a free beat stick that is piercing, and a negate. Really strong. And then they play this really just for the coin flip. That's it. You just need another coin flip card. Not a terrible card. It's okay. I think they like half battle damage or something. You know, something. It's something. And then we have the skeleton list. So, like I said, the whole counter trap is a new thing. All of them are playing Debunk. Debunk is from the card trader as well. Pretty strong card. Wiretap as well. Very good. This is the mini twin barrel dragon that people play. Flip 2 coins, target 1. Well, you target 1 card, flip 2 coins. If its heads, destroy it. Basically says on summon, destroy a card. Then we have the Blast Spider. So 2100 defense, which is weird for the 4, so that's kind of high. But that's not why it's good. So once per turn, target a Dark Machine monster you control. Or excuse me. Once per turn, you can target 1 Dark Machine monster control and 1 face card your opponent controls, destroy them. If a monster you control was originally Dark Machine, destroys an opponent's monster battle or card effect into the graveyard, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the original attack. I've lost to that before. And if the charge returns to the graveyard, you can special... Wait, what is it? Yeah, so basically this card lets you get out Despacito if you have it in your hand. Is what I was trying to get at. So you summon this, destroy itself and opponent's monster, summon Despacito, destroy the other 2, and draw a card. Really good. This is a newer card people are playing too, that I've seen people play, Mrs. Judge. So if opponent card effects activate before resolving, you toss a coin twice, if you get 2 heads, negate that effect. So it's a free negate on 1800 body. Ultimate Providence, one of the better counter traps in the game. If your opponent activates a card, you discard that same type of card, monster spell, trap, negate it. You really just play it so you can reel out a Parshath. Then you have your 3 Parshaths, which is just a free beat stick. I mean... It's a really good, like, I know this is going to sound really mean and salty, but if you're a player that doesn't like to think, you play Despacito. Because you don't have to think when you play this deck, you just summon Desperado. I mean, obviously there's going to be a little bit of a skill gap because, you know, if you're a really skilled player playing Despacito, you will be better than somebody who just picks the deck up and has no idea what they're doing. But if someone picks the deck up and has no idea what they're doing, they'll be able to compete with other players who are playing less powerful decks. That's why I don't like this deck. I really don't like this deck. Just the fact that there's a skill in the game that makes coin flips a guaranteed heads is just shouldn't exist, in my opinion. But that's that. At least this card's at 2. If this wasn't at 2, they play Econ as well. Oh my god. Crazy. Crazy. 6 Samurais. Another popular deck, one of the more hated. See, the way I look at it is I feel like Cyber Angels, For Hires, Sylvans, and 6 Am. Those are like the 4 most hated decks. Like they're just all crazy. They just summon so many cards. They get negates out. We get big beaters, and they all get hit really hard to the point where they're unplayable. With the exception of 6 Samurai. 6 Samurai's been hit so many times, and they're still on the tier list. You know, Fur Hires are still playable, but they've been hit so many times that they're not tiered. You have Cyber Angels hit so many times that they're barely playable, and then Sylvans got hit so hard that they are not playable. You have this deck, which got hit very hard, but it's still a very playable deck. I definitely do not recommend building 6 Samurais now, unless you are either very close to completing it, or you just absolutely love the 6 Samurai archetype and just don't care. But if you're looking to build like a competitive deck, your first competitive deck, I do not recommend 6 Samurais. Very strong deck though. You have Kizan, free special summon if you have another 6 Samurai, really easy. Combos are saved with Fuma, level 1 tuner, summon Fuma, special this, synchro to 5, get your Shien, which is a spell trap negate. Very strong card. Fuma also, when it's sent to the graveyard, you special summon a 6 Sam from grave, or excuse me, 6 Sam from deck. When you typically want to get is your Anishi, which is limited to 2, along with Dojo. So Anishi, you can banish 2 6 Samurai from your graveyard, banish a face-up card your opponent controls, force in your opponent's turn. Really, really strong. Dojo. Every time a 6 Sam monster is summoned, you get a counter. You can send this card to the graveyard, special summon a monster or 6 Sam from your deck whose level equals the counters. So if you have 1 counter, so basically you summon that you activate Dojo, summon Kizan, get a counter, remove the counter, summon Fuma. Basically, this deck is how many times can I get to Shien turn 1? That's what you want. You got Kizaru on special, searches for a 6 Sam of a attribute you don't control, so you can't get an Earth, but you can get your Fuma. You also play this guy. You can play this guy as well. I like this card a lot. Basically, if you normal summon a 6 Sam, you can special summon it. So you go normal summon Fuma, special summon Legendary. Yeah, really good card. You also got Dual Wield, which is kind of like Treacherous Chapel in the sense of it gets rid of 2 cards, but you can only activate it if you can only control 1 attack position Samurai. So basically, you have to have like a ideally you want to have a Shien attack mode in this set, and it's like the strongest play. Not everybody plays Return, but it's a good card. Revives a 6 Sam, Powerful Rebirth, grabs any card, level 4 or lower, and then you have your Pot of Greed. You know, gets a counter every time a Samurai is summoned. Remove a max 2, remove it, draw 2. So yeah, you could go if you have this and a Fuma and a Kizan. You go activate United, summon Fuma, special Kizan, draw 2, synchro to Shien, hopefully get your Dual Wield. That's the play. Very strong deck. Definitely see it dipping though. You know, I feel like once we get more cards, once new decks come out, you'll see it dipping. Unless they do something crazy, like let's say they go out and let's say we get a ban list, right? And they hit Dark Lords and Despacito, so they're like not really that playable. Maybe this deck can go up popularity to be better, but I really don't see this deck ever being like tier 1 again, unless we get more insane support. But there really isn't any 6 Samurai cards I can think of on top of my head that they could add to the game that'll make this deck even better. Because we pretty much have every single good card. We have Grandmaster, which is a great card. Nobody plays it. We have Great Shogun Shien. Nobody plays it. We have Anishi, the Chancellor, which is a pretty decent card. Nobody plays it. If we look at the breakdown here for the how many people play, get your 3 Fumas, of course. At least 2 Shien. I only play 1 because I only have 1. Your Kizans, your Anishis, and of course, you gotta play your Dojo. Some people play 2 Dojo and they forego the Anishi. That's okay, I think. 1-1 I think is ideal. With the sample deck, of course. We have Rihan, of course, which is a fun card, but you never summon it. And yeah, very powerful King of Games deck. This guy's using Draw Sense Light. I want to check this out. Typically use Beatdown because Beatdown's really good. So Draw Sense Light, what do you draw into? Okay, I guess they're just leveling up a character and they had Draw Sense Light. I don't know. So that's 6 Samurais. Next deck we have is Spellbooks. Spellbooks have been around forever. They've changed like crazy. So you have your typical Spellbook cards which have been hit. Everybody knows. And then we got Silent Magician. So Silent Magician is a negate. It's a free big monster. When it's destroyed, you summon the bigger one. Really strong. You play Light and Dark, so that way you can shuffle back your Breaker. You can get into your Kaiku, or excuse me, shuffle back Breaker, get into your Silent Magician, or vice versa. You could play Invoked in this as well, because it's a level 4 Spellcaster that is a Dark. You can play with your lights. Honestly, there's really not much to say about Spellbooks. Like, just how, like, similar to 6 Sams, or 6 Sams just want to summon Shan as many times as they can. This deck is pretty much how many times can you hit the Fate to make Fate live. You only have 2 of them now. You only have 1 Eternity as well, so recycling this card. Still a strong deck though. Again though, I do not recommend going out and building this deck if you're a new player. It's a pretty expensive deck. You literally have to spend money to play this deck too because you need the Silent Magician stuff. and it's an older deck. The fact that it's been around for a long time, though, I think it'll continue to be around for a long time, not forever. But, you know, the fact that this deck basically has just become generic Spellcaster deck. Like, whenever we get a good Spellcaster card, it goes in the deck. We got Kaiku, one in the deck. Got Breaker, one in the deck. We got Alistair, people are playing it. So, strong deck. I don't know what else to say about this. You can play in the grind game. That's about it. Like, it's Spellbooks, man. They've been around forever. Good deck. Definitely deserving of a tier 2 spot. And then we can move on to tier 3. So, fortunately, these are tier 3. Biggest issue with fortunately is consistency. Like, I see people who like post like, oh man, I went on a 15-game win streak, king of games, opened up every time. Like, how do you open up every time? Like, I play this deck and I brick all the time. So yeah, so sample deck, pretty standard, honestly. Like, this is very similar to what I'm playing or what I've played. I play 2 lights. People will just play 1. I mean, if it works for you, it works. If you actually like playing 2, helps with the consistency a little bit. You got your calling, again, you got your searcher card. You got Every. Every's the main reason why this deck is so good, because Every can just come back when it's removed from the field, or excuse me, when it's sent to the graveyard, come back, banish something in the standby phase. Insanely strong card. You got Past and Light combo. Everybody knows the combo. If you open up Past or Light with the Fortune Calling, you basically got full combo with a draw 2. I feel like so many decks, I never really realized this, so many decks just have like a draw 2 for no reason. Or just a draw for no reason. 6 Samurai, Despacito, this. You just draw for no reason. It's like, biggest issue with this deck though is consistency, like I said, because if you're not getting out your Every, you don't do anything. You're just setting your Fortune Lady monsters. They do nothing. The only one that does something on its own is Win to destroy back row. You destroy back row equal to the number of Fortune Ladies you control. So if you have 2 Fortune Ladies, who only has 1 back row, you do not destroy it, which is a bit unfortunate. But otherwise, it's a really good deck. I've tried playing this deck. I got me to Legend last season, I think. But like, it just, the inconsistency is just way too much for me to want to like play this deck more. Because like I said, like, if you're not getting Every out first turn, you're kind of losing. That's why people are opt to play a lot more trap cards, like Shadow Prisoning Mirror against Dark Lords and stuff like that. You can play Drowning as well, because you can just set Drowning if you don't have it. Base of the deck is summon Every or stall until you get Every, and the deck's not that good at stalling, which is why it's a tier 3 deck. If it could get to Every more consistently, it'll definitely go popularity. If we get like Fortune Lady Dark, Fortune Lady Fire, Fortune Lady Fire destroys monsters, and then your opponent takes damage equal to the level or something like that. Really strong card, you know. But unfortunately, like, if you can't get Every out, you're pretty much just losing. So yeah, that's Fortune Ladies. You gotta play Time Passage as well. That's the only skill to play. You literally need it, otherwise the deck is unplayable. And yeah, so that's Fortune Ladies. And then last up, we have Trimids. So Trimids are a deck that I honestly know the least about. Basically what you do is just keep recycling your field spells, and you have your Trap, which you can shelf back your field spells to pop a card. That's Trimids. It's kind of a weird deck because like you are really reliant on having your Trimid Dancers up, because it's the one that cycles your field spells a lot. Really weird deck, honestly. In the grind game, it struggles a little bit because you go through your traps or your spells a lot. Honestly, I really don't have that much to say about this deck because I really don't see a lot anymore. I've never played this deck. You play Balance, I guess I could say that. The reason why you play Balance is because you want to open with one of your Trimid monsters. Ideally, you want to open with Dancer. Or this guy, Master. I think Dancer's better than Master. I don't know if that's a bad take or whatever, but that's just me. And you need a field spell. That's why you play all these field spells. And then you just play traps for Balance. 3 Trimid pulls, 3 whatever other trap you have. It's still a good deck, but I don't really see it staying around for too long. I believe at one point it was completely off the tier list, and then it came back on. I guess it has an okay matchup against like Dark Lords as well, because you can just keep recycling your spells. It's not a terrible deck. I wouldn't build it right now. If you're a new returning player or whatever, I would not build this deck right now because it's a little bit older and something gonna fall off. Now, I guess if you're wondering, hey, see, if I am a new player, what do I build? Honestly, I don't recommend building any of the decks on the tier list right now, as weird as that sounds, because people are clamoring out Dark Lords, thinking that they want to get hit on them. Maybe putting the one that special comes from the graveyard to 1 or something. I don't know. Neos, honestly, Neos is probably okay to build. If you're willing to spend money, I think you have to spend about 20 bucks to build Neos, because you need 3 of the Neo structure deck and 3 of the Magician of Chaos structure deck. So you can honestly build a Neos deck if you're a newer player and want to spend money. That's fine. But other than that, like, if you go to the top decks, right? Like, what other deck would I recommend? Or what other decks do we want to give a shout out to? Subterrors, want to give a shout out to. I think Subterrors is still a really good deck. The fact that Umashik just exists in the game is just so strong. Just flipping, banishing something, really strong. But it's really a tough question to answer of, hey, I'm a new player, what do I build? You know, Vendreads are actually still pretty popular. Vendreads are from a mini box. They're pretty easy to build. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in the October 2019 metagame right now, if you're a brand new player and you don't really know what to build, wait till the next set. The next set's probably be a mini box. Maybe there'll be something good out of that set. Wait until then, and then we'll see. So, yeah, that's it for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about these videos. You want to see them more? Definitely want to do them at least once a month. Because I really do like talking about Duel Links and something a bit different than just playing the game, you know? So thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We'll see you guys next time. And bye-bye.